Forensic evidence extraction. There are many different ways to extract forensic evidence from a victim to try to determine a John Doe's birthday, identification, cause, and time of death. Also to determine the suspect and its motives. Go ahead. Detective Madison arrives on scene, taking photographs of the environment and then moving to the victim. Photographing the body and placing the photos into evidence. Detective Madison will collect evidence on the body, and then she will move to collect other evidence in the room. First, she will remove trace evidence from the hair, the fingernails, place them in wax paper, bundle them, and place them in envelopes. She will then brush the victim's hair and pubic region, if naked. Hold the butcher paper underneath the hair you are brushing and book the paper into evidence. Then she will remove the trace evidence from skin, clothing, and entire body of the victim with scotch pads, lint rollers, and frosted tape. She will take from the hands, feet, legs, torso, pubic area, and neck and place into evidence. Next, Detective Madison will collect samples of pooled blood from the victim, collect control samples as close to the area as possible. She will use a hemostick to confirm it is actually blood. Use a cotton swab with 1 drop of distilled water and place the swab in wax paper loosely to place it in an envelope to place into evidence. Next, she will swab the bite mark on the victim and place into evidence. Swab the oral cavity of the victim. And place into evidence. She will then collect any exemplar hairs on the victim's clothing or surroundings and place into evidence. If body is discovered before body temperature has come into equilibrium with the ambient temperature, the forensic scientist can estimate the time of death by measuring the core temperature of the body. If rigor mortis has set in, the body muscles will be stiff. The body muscles are normally relaxed between 1 to 3 hours after death, but between 3 and 36 hours, they start to stiffen. Next, we will collect exemplars from the environment. We will look at the residence and find any evidence. We will collect this knife and place into evidence. Back at the lab, we will use X-rays, CT scans, body scans to look for fractures, amputations. The victim's breast implants will be used to identify her. Also, any medical devices, implants such as pacemakers, prosthetics, or dental implant will be used. Next, we have our insects. Flies rapidly discover a body and their development times are predictable. The time of death predicted by counting back the days from the state of development of insects living on the course. Detailed entomological calculations. Number 1, determine the temperature history at the crime scene. Extract Weather Bureau records of maximum and minimum daily temperatures at weather station nearest to the crime scene over a general period the body has been exposed. Set up weather station at the crime scene after the body has been found and compare temperature changes with those at the nearest weather station. Calibrate Weather Bureau data for period preceding discovery of body, accounting for difference between crime scene and weather station. Calculate the average temp that the body has been exposed. Number 2, rear maggots to adulthood to identify the species. Collect a range of maggots, particularly those that might be the oldest, from the body and rear them on ox liver at a constant temperature. Record time until larvae pupate. Keep pupae until adults emerge. Identify species from adult characteristics. For some species, identify from larval features may be possible, or they can be identified from DNA samples if a DNA library is available. Number 3, estimate the time of egg laying. Use knowledge of development rate at the particular species and rearing temp. Count back to estimate age of maggots when the body was found. Using knowledge of developmental rate at the particular species at the crime scene temperature, count back to determine the date of the egg laying. This is the latest time at which the body has died. May have died earlier if there was a delay between death and egg laying. This depends on weather accessibility to the body.